With anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while a bandage in my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, cause I'm the unknown stuntman.
Welcome to Wrestlerant HD, the Jobbersode. Now, this had to happen. This episode is paying homage to jobbers as much as it will to past superstars. You see, jobbers were important because they were what made us believe that the superstars were actually as great as they were. It's a little hard to believe sometimes now. Back in the day, Brodus Clay would have been a jobber. He wouldn't have been a main superstar. I don't want to forget to mention some great jobber names like Iron Mike Sharp, Jim Powers, who, by the way, I might add, once upon a time ago was not a jobber. Okay? So, what I want you to understand is this, is that Jim Powers was a great wrestler with his tag team partner Paul Roma when they were the Young Stallions. However, later on, Jim Powers became a jobber. What the heck is up with that? All I got to say about that is this, is that, well, I miss guys like Jim Powers. And that, with this show, is all about. It is Wrestlerant HD, the Jobbersode. So let's get right down to business.
House down on Highway 41. You were wiping off some ketchup on the table.
Alright, Jim Cooper versus the Big Boss Man. Now, the point of this show is to talk about the jobbers, not mainly the superstars. Everybody remembers who the Big Boss Man is, right? You know, you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better walk the line, respect the law and order, or you'll be serving what? Hard time, right? Who doesn't remember that song? But let me ask you, how many people remember Jim Cooper? Let me see your hands. Okay, I don't see any hands. That's because nobody remembers Jim Cooper. Jim Cooper was a guy who Big Boss Man beat up. That's all you remember if you remember anything about Jim Cooper. And he probably got beat up by some other superstars as well. Hey, look, Jim, hopefully you're still living wherever you are. It had to happen, buddy. Boss Man had to get over. These were the days when being a jobber was key. When you walked into that ring just so you couldn't walk out. Alright, Kevin Catlin versus Skinner. Who remembers Skinner? Who remembers a guy who used to come down the ring and spit chewing tobacco in your face? I remember. Who remembers Kevin Catlin? Nobody! This guy is some guy like all the rest of the jobbers were, that was probably the local professional wrestling independent talent. But, say what you want, he got in that ring and he got his name in lights. Even if it was for 1 minute or two. Kevin Catlin will go down in history. Forget it, he just went down in history. Alright, now, it's time to talk about the Repo Man and Mickey J. Now, who remembers the Repo Man? No. Not the bad segment I did on a Wrestlerant show a long time ago. I'm talking about the real Repo Man, a.k.a. Barry Darso, a.k.a. Axe of Demolition, or Smash. Yeah, I think it was Smash. Anyway, all I gotta say is this, is that Repo Man took on a guy named Mickey J. Now wait a minute, I'm going somewhere with this, so don't turn me off yet. Anybody here remember Mickey J? That's right, I put my hand up. You might remember Mickey J later on after his jobber career as a referee. Mickey J refereed a lot of WWE matches and a lot of WCW matches. Mickey J was not only a known jobber, he was also a known referee. He probably might still be refereeing somewhere. If he's still alive, I hope he is. But this show is dedicated to the jobbers, to the people that nobody remembers, to the people that nobody knows. I believe jobbers were key in the business because of this. Because they couldn't possibly make a superstar look bad. Unless it was Jim Powers. Listen, going back to Jim Powers, I've seen that guy wrestle in a lot of dark matches around this country. And I can tell you this, Jim Powers was truly a force to be reckoned with, but just talent that WWE creative staff would never get behind. I miss you, Jim Powers, what can I say? But anyway, Mickey J is one of those talents that actually did something else besides be a jobber. When we come back, we're going to have more about jobbers on Wrestle Rant HD, the Jobber Show. Who does Brodus Clay remind me of? Here one day, gone the next. Big and disgusting. Ugh. Nap time.
Look at it now. Look, the hump on his back. Like the Silver Side. Look at him. The Macho Booger.
Bastion Booger. Bastion Booger. Huh? Oh! Oh! Oh!
She just fell my big tan hips, bragging on a little blue. No, no,
Welcome back to Wrestle Rant HD, the Jobber Show. For those of you who don't remember the guys that nobody else can seem to remember, that's why I'm here. Now, we're going to get down to business. Bob Avery, Bob Morgan versus the LOD, the Legion of Doom. Who doesn't remember the Legion of Doom, right? Anybody remember Bob Avery and Bob Morgan? No, not Captain Morgan, not the guy on the bottom. Some of you people are sick. No, Bob Avery and Bob Morgan. Now, let's take a poll. How many of you can guess who won this match? Okay, for those of you who said Bob Avery and Bob Morgan, you need to be shot or beaten at least within an inch of your life by Brodus Clay. Now, listen. Bob Avery and Bob Morgan probably never made it after this. In fact, they probably never ate solid food after this. But what I will tell you is this, is that tag team jobbers used to be something that was prevalent in professional wrestling. What happened to that? You know, I think what made WWE step it up a notch and go from using jobbers to superstar versus superstar was watching WCW do it. Now, WCW had their jobbers too. But often when you watched a WCW event, you usually saw superstar versus superstar. However, I miss the good old jobber days. And they were the bestest. Alright.
What's up, bro? What's going on? Wanna go kill this mountain? No way, bro. Been to the top of everything.
Alright. Barry Horowitz and Fit Finlay. Now, I'm going to talk about Finlay first. Some of you remember Finlay as just Finlay. But if you've grown up with professional wrestling like I have, you remember Fit Finley, the same guy who was later Finley. He used to be a jobber. Kind of like the Brooklyn Brawler was famous, but then was a jobber, only Finley was a jobber, then famous. Well, anyway, that Finley sure is a fit guy. And not only that, but Fit Finley would later on go on to be Finley, who would be a major superstar in the WWE because his name's Finley and he loves to fight. Right? Is that right? That's right. Let me say this. That Fit Finley was a staple jobber, just like the Brooklyn Brawler, Jim Powers, Iron Mike Sharp. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, we're going to talk about good old Barry Horowitz. Every time you've seen a Barry Horowitz match, did anybody notice that before Barry would start a match, he'd reach his hand up high, pat himself on the back, and then the match would start? Fans, that is symbolic of a true legend. Did he win any great titles? No. But Barry Horowitz will be remembered for being a great jobber not only in the WWE, but also in WCW. Barry Horowitz has spanned across the professional wrestling market everywhere. Whether you've seen him on TV or just in those awkward dark matches that he wrestled. By the way, I've seen a lot of those, Barry. You had to admit that Barry Horowitz was a talent to be reckoned with. And I can't understand why Vince McMahon never picked Barry Horowitz up. You know, like the Road Runner and Coyote, Barry Horowitz actually won one. I can't remember which one, but Barry did win one. Anyway, Barry, if you're watching this, I want you to know that somebody in the professional wrestling world still remembers you. This WrestleRant HD host remembers Barry Horowitz. And let me tell you, while I like Fit Finley, I miss good old Barry standing in the ring across from his opponent with that jacket with the hand on the back of it going. So, this concludes our WrestleRant HD Jobbersode, and I hope you will join me next Saturday for WrestleRant HD. So, having said that, thank you for watching America's #1 professional wrestling rant show. I will see you next week right here on WrestleRant HD. Goodbye, everybody.